Hello everyone, and welcome to the Reallusion webinar for CrazyTalk Animator 2. Here on the screen I have a couple of important steps that we need to follow before. So the first one is please adjust your audio settings. Second one is to expand the questions and chat section in the GoToMeeting interface. We're going to use this at the very end when we have the Q&A session for about 10 minutes. And then the last one, obviously, try to shut down any programs, any downloading you're doing or streaming. That way you can optimize the bandwidth for this webinar. Now, if you experience any lag or delay in the video or audio delivery during this webinar, don't worry because we are live recording this on our end. So once we're done with the webinar, you can expect this video up online on our website in about 2 hours. So let's start. Okay, so first of all, my name is Enoc Burgos, and I will be your host today. And this is the outline that we're going to cover. We're going to talk about the CrazyTalk Advantage. Then we're going to go into a live demo, and I'm going to show you some of the basics on how to operate CrazyTalk Animator 2. Then we're going to talk about who uses CTA so you can have a better idea of the popularity of the software, along with some showcases, reviews, and awards, and then the Q&A at the end. Now, if you have any questions, please save them until the very end because we will have about 10 minutes to answer these. So great, let's start. So CrazyTalk has been around for more than a decade. It started with CrazyTalk 1, obviously, and this was a facial animation software. Now, during the time of CrazyTalk 6, we came out with CrazyTalk Animator 1, which was a tool that allowed you to do face and body animation. Last year, we came out with CrazyTalk Animator 2, and obviously this is an improvement on the first section, and it still allows you to do facial and body animation. Now, the advantages of CrazyTalk, there are several. CrazyTalk can be used, it's so simple and easy to use that it's often used by educators and students. We also have graphic designers that are now using CrazyTalk because you don't have to spend much time in the reposing and animating part. We also have comic creators taking advantage of the automatic lip syncing, and obviously Flash designers because you are able to work with SWF Flash files. Okay, so the first big advantage with CrazyTalk is that we have a bunch of tools and content. This allows you to hit the floor running. You don't have to have any experience in being an artist or being able to draw anything. You can grab tons of characters or animations or props and scenes from the library, drop them into your window, and you can quickly start animating with them. At the same time, if you wish to expand on this content, you can import your own, or you can visit the online store and acquire additional content packs to your liking. Another big advantage with CrazyTalk is that we have the avatar creation system. So this basically is like, it's a little virtual library that allows you to mix and match different body parts for avatars. So imagine that you're playing with paper dolls. You can change the upper part, the lower part. Then, just like Mr. Potato Head, you can exchange the eyes, the eyebrows, the nose, the shape of the face, and the mouth. And you can play around with this until you customize your own character. This allows you the ability to create very unique personalities. So with the parts for eyebrows and mouth and faces, you can mix and match, and you can create very, very unique personalities without having to know how to draw. And I'm going to show you how to do this later on in the live demo. So in CrazyTalk, there's two major character types. Okay, one is a sprite-based character like the one we have here on the left, which consists of a character that's made of different parts. These parts are what we call sprites. So you have sprites for eyes, for different hands, for different mouth shapes. And the way the software will animate this is by instantly replacing these sprites to simulate the illusion of animation. Then we have the morph-based characters. These are characters that can be generated from a photograph. So the way the software will animate this is by stretching and morphing the pixels of that image. And if you played around with CrazyTalk 6 or any of the previous CrazyTalks, you understand what I'm talking about. You can import a photograph, and then inside the software, you can stretch and morph the pixels to have the illusion of animation. Now, I understand that most of you are trial users for CrazyTalk Animator. So I'm going to go slowly over these advantages so you can have a better idea of what the full version can do. Okay. Another advantage is that you're able to bring an image and start animating that image. Again, you don't need to know how to draw. You can bring in a photograph of a face photograph and then set in different facial points for that photo and add that head photo to one of the pre-made bodies inside. And you instantly have a character, a ready-made animatable character. We also have the instant render style. This is basically a tool that allows you to change the color scheme of any character, prop, or scene. Okay? Now, mind you that you can only do this with characters that have sprites, and these have to be specific characters that have the render style option activated. Now, this is a huge advantage because now you no longer need to switch out different sprites with different colors. You don't need to colorize everything, every single sprite one at a time. You can simply select a character, go into the render style, and then adjust the colors for this. So you imagine that you finish an entire animation. At the very end, you decide that you want this animation to be in black and white. Well, it's simple. You just select the entire scene, open the render style options, and play around with the color until you're satisfied with the look of it. CrazyTalk also has automatic facial animation. This is something that we've always had in CrazyTalk. So basically that you can use the power of your voice to animate the lips of your character. The same way you can automatically animate the lips, you can also do with the body. So inside we have the body puppeteering tools. This allows you to puppeteer your character and create your own animations and save these if you like. You can do this both with the face and with the body. CrazyTalk Animator 2 also has multi-dimensional characters. So what does this mean? It means that if you have a flat 2D character like this, each character comes in 10 different angles. So if you rotate the character, the software will automatically replace those sprites in different angles to simulate as if the character is turning. So you can imagine that there's a lot of possibilities with creating very 3D looking animations in a 2D engine like this. Okay? So because these characters come in 10 different angles, you are now able to import and apply 3D motions to these 2D characters. Again, if you have 3D motions that were created in 3D, you can actually apply them to these 2D characters if they are CrazyTalk G2 characters which have 10 dimensions. And this is something very, very cool. Now at this point you might ask, okay, but how do I get these 3D motions? Well, in the software, by default, you get a folder that has some of these 3D motions. But obviously you can also import your own 3D motions. This can be done through 3D Exchange. This is another application that we have, which is a sort of like a converter. So for example, if you have access to a mocap studio, a motion capturing studio, and you capture yourself doing this 3D animation, and you save this in an industry format, BVH extension. This is an industry format, BVH, okay? You can grab that 3D motion file, bring it into 3D Exchange, and then convert it. You convert it into an iMotion file. And once you have that iMotion file, you simply drag and drop it onto any of these G2 characters that we have inside, and you will see that 2D character perform that 3D animation. Now that is something very, very cool. With CrazyTalk, you also have the ability to create your own scenes. So you can drag and drop different parts, different props, you can bring in your own backgrounds, and you can start customizing your own scenes and layering them. Likewise, if you have your own files, if you have JPEG files, BMP files, even Flash files, you can drag and drop these directly into the window and start arranging these to create your own props. We also have the ability to play around with the camera setup and movements. So imagine that you have all the tools to create your character, all the tools to animate your character, and then you have all the tools to record your character. You can move around the cameras, you can have a camera switch, you can have a camera follow a character, or even pan in, zoom out, and do whatever you'd like. So you have all these abilities inside. Lastly, with CrazyTalk, you're not just acquiring a product, you're being part of a community. So with CrazyTalk, obviously, we have content that you acquire online from the official Reallusion Store. But we also have another area called the Marketplace. This is a public marketplace where you can visit and you can acquire content made by other people from around the world, other artists that make content for CrazyTalk Animator too. At the same time, if you wish to create your own content and sell it in the marketplace, you are able to do this. And you can have an account in the marketplace, you can have your own virtual store, and you can start creating your characters, your animations, and you can sell this. You can sell all of this to people all around the world. And we actually have developers and content developers that make a pretty good living by doing this. They just create content and they sell it on the marketplace to other CrazyTalk Animator users. Great. So enough with that stuff. Let's jump into the fun stuff. We're going to go into the live demo. And I'm going to open the software and I'm going to play around with it. So the first step here is to create a Johnny Depp lookalike. And I'm going to do this by selecting one of the default characters inside and then customizing my character. So let me open my CrazyTalk here. CrazyTalk. Oh, give me a second. I opened CrazyTalk 7. I need to open my CrazyTalk Animator. Here we go. So as I mentioned, the first thing I'm going to do is that I will open my character. So just a quick introduction here. We have the top toolbar up here. Okay, this allows you to import and save your files. Then we have the left side toolbar that allows you to customize some of the assets that you have inside. And we have the content manager on the right. Now the content manager is just a fancy word for a virtual library. So if I want to get a character, I'm going to go inside, actor. Okay, I can go to character. And then I can go down to find one of the characters I like. And I'm going to work with Walter down here. There we go, Walter. Okay, so say hi, Walter. So I'm going to start playing with Walter. I'm going to customize him. So the way I do this is that I double click on him, or I select him. And then I want to bring Walter into the character composer system, which is like the backstage. So after I select him, I go to the left here. It says character composer, and I select that. A good analogy is to think that in the main window, that's the stage where all the animation and the acting happens. But if you want to change costumes and you want to customize your character, then you take him into the character composer, which is like the backstage. Okay? So let's play with Walter here. I want to start with the face. So for this, it's fairly simple. I go again into the content manager and I go to head. And inside I have different folders. So I can go into the face folder and I can select one of the faces that we have inside. So I think I wish to work with face 03. Now I can double click on this, or I can drag and drop and apply this face onto Walter. Just like that. And then let's go to the eyebrows. So I could go down and browse through all the assets we have, or I can go into one of these folders. Now previously I installed this G2 Power Pack content, additional add-on pack, and this comes with more options. I have more eyebrows and more facial parts. So yeah, let me work with brow 01. Double click on it, and this will apply to Walter here. Okay, and let's go to the eyes now. I'm going to go into eyes, and I can browse inside. But again, let me go into this folder here. And I want to use this I02, the one with these bags under the eyes. You have these eyeshadows, heavy eyeshadows. Great. So let's see, what else? Let's go to mouth. I think we have a mouth here that looks like a pirate. Oh, there it is. Mouth 03. I like this one. Okay, good. Now, what about the nose? Let's just do something about that nose here. Let's browse inside. Something prominent. Something. I think this would do. 02. Let's try this one. No. Let's change to 03 maybe. No. Hold up. 01. Maybe that's the one that looks better. No, I don't like that. 03 then. So as you can see, I don't have to draw anything. No, I don't like that. Let's just go to 02. I don't have to draw anything. I simply have to select one of these facial parts and I can add them inside. Now, because all of these facial parts are G2 or Generation 2, just like Walter, I am able to rotate him, and you see that we have different angles, okay? So again, with the new characters, the G2 characters and the G2 body parts, you have multiple angles for your character. So this is a huge advantage. Oh, let me go back up. This is a huge advantage when you want to simulate 3D movements with a 2D character. Great. The last part here, let's go to hair. I'm going to go into my folder, and I want to give this guy sort of a female hair. This one right there, hair 09. When I drop that in, there you go. And you can see that the color of his goatee automatically changed to the color of his hair. Now, if I want to change the color theme, then I can do this. Okay, I have to open the render style. Now, how do I know that this character and these sprites are compatible with the render style? Simply because inside the icon, I see that it says RS. That means render style, so they are compatible. So I will select my guy. No, I don't have to select anything. I simply have to go into the left side panel here and click render style, and this will open the panel. And then down here, I'm going to go into the advanced settings. Now, I think the advanced settings do not work with CrazyTalk Animator Standard. I am not sure, but I'm about 80% certain that this only works with either the Pro version or the Pipeline version. So here, I'm going to go into the group name selection, and I'm going to go into hair, or just go to hair 1. Effect same group, okay, and I'm going to drop the brightness. And I like that. Let me drop the saturation a bit. Great. And I think we have our Johnny Depp. Great. Let me zoom out a bit now. Let's work with the body. So the same way we did with the head, I'm going to go down to body. I'm going to go to upper. And I'm going to search for something appropriate. Let's go into the Body Composer Kit 2. Nope, not that one. Let me go back out. Body Composer Kit 1. Oh, there we go. Upper 15. I kind of like this one. So let's replace that necktie and give him this t-shirt with a little chain. And I'm going to go into the lower part. Choose one of these assets. Nope. Let me go into another folder. This one, lower 10. I kind of like this sort of biker pants thing. And we have our Johnny Depp character. And I can rotate him. And you see that we have different angles. Now that was very, very fast. So once you're done with your character, you simply go up here and return him back to stage. This will update your character. And there we go. Now we have our Johnny Depp lookalike character. Now the next step is to create an animation scene. So as you can see in this image here, we're gonna basically layer everything in front. We're going to layer these different props, one in front of the other. And this is going to allow us to simulate a scene. So let's start. I'm going to zoom out, move my Johnny character to the side. And I'm going to go into the scene section, expand scene, or let's expand the props. And inside we have different types of prop folders. Now, mind you that I have installed additional content packs for CrazyTalk. You can choose to do this, or again, you can import your own images to create your own props. So if you import a PNG image that's cut out already, you can import that inside and convert it into a prop. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to open this folder here where I have these backgrounds, and I'm going to use this inside. Give me a second here. Oh, I want to sneeze. Okay, it's over. So I'm going to grab one of these JPEG files. I can grab a JPEG file, or I can work with a BMP file. I can work with a GIF file. I can work with a, did I say PNG? Yeah, PNG, BMP, JPEG, GIF, and a whole bunch of other images. So I simply drag and drop directly from my folder and drop it inside. CrazyTalk will ask me, okay, you want to create media. Now, what do you wish to do? Do you wish to create a prop with this, which is a small little prop, and an image layer or a background? So I want to choose a background. So now that blue image covered my entire background. And I can start playing with this to create my own city. So I'm going to go down here and choose Skyline. I'm going to double click on this, and I can zoom out a bit till I have my skyline inside. Just about there. That's good. Let me move my Johnny character, select him, and move him to the side. Now I will bring another skyline and just drag that inside. And if I stretch on the corners here, you can see that I can enlarge my prop. I can make it fit, just like that. Okay, what else can we do? There's a road here, road B. I'm going to do the same thing, drag and drop. I'm going to cover the bottom part and stretch this out just about there, okay? Now don't worry if it's not perfect, because you see that we have this blue rectangle. So this is basically the safe area. So everything that's inside, that's what's going to appear on your video or on your image or whatever. I'm going to choose a road now, and I'm going to drag and drop this inside, and I'll do the same thing. And I'll stretch this out. And now I have a little road in my scene. Okay. Now at this point you might think, okay, but what's happening here? Well, what's happening is that we are layering everything inside. And if I go up here into the 3D viewer, you can see what's happening. Let me zoom out, and I can rotate this to the side. You can see that we have these flat 2D sprites, these props, and we've just layered them in front of each other. Okay. So what about the houses here? Oh, let me finish up. I'm going to drop in this crosswalk here in front. I think that looks okay. Let me expand that a bit. And we're going to drop in another one on the right side. And I like that, yeah. What else? Let me drop in this store so I can drag and drop that inside. And I have my store, and I could minimize that a bit. Now, I'm going to show you a little trick. If I wish to duplicate this, obviously I can drag and drop another store inside. But a little trick is to select my prop and hold down the Control key. Now, if you're using the Windows version of CrazyTalk Animator 2, you're going to want to hold down the Control key. I'm using the Mac version here, so I'm going to hold down the Command key. Just hold down the key and hold it. And if you have your prop selected and you drag it to the side, you're going to duplicate it, just like that. Okay? And if I hold Command again and select the other one, I can select both of them. So let's rearrange them, just like that. Okay, what about this store? Drop in another store. I'm going to minimize it, and I'm going to bring in another one. Okay, one in front of the other. Let me enlarge this one a bit, just like that. Okay, let me select the other one, and now I could shrink both of them, just like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, what else can we do? Let me drop in a street lamp, and I also want a traffic light. Let me zoom in a bit. Place it right there, and then I want my traffic light on the opposite corner, right about there. So our scene is done. I'll go into the 3D viewer, and we can see that scene there. Okay, see that? No, that was very, very quick. So the next step here is where we are going to create an animation. Okay, step 3. We're going to animate a 2D character in a 3D space. Now, what do I mean when I say a 3D space? Okay, let me clear this up. CrazyTalk Animator is a 2D animation tool, meaning that at the end, you're going to generate a 2D animation. But CrazyTalk is actually a 3D engine. That's why we have this 3D space. And that is why we are able to layer these props in 3D space, one in front of the other. Okay? So because it's a 3D engine, that's why we can bring in 3D motions and apply it to this 2D character inside. So let me select my Johnny character, and I'm going to enlarge it. Okay, right about there. That's too big. We'll fix him in a while. I'm going to zoom in into the scene I wish to use. Right about there. Okay. Let me select my Johnny character. I'll minimize him a bit. Okay, shrink him. I think he's okay right there. Okay. And I'm going to rotate Johnny. So I can select him, and I can go to the left side toolbar where it says 3D Motion Key Editor. And this will open the 3D Motion Key Editor panel. So you see the slider here? I can grab the slider, and with this I can rotate Johnny in different angles. 90 degrees, 45, 0, 315, 270, and you get the picture. Okay. Now another little fast hotkey for me to rotate him is to use the brackets, the bracket keys on my keyboard, so I could move him to the side. Great. Now let's make him walk. So for this, I can generate my own animations, or I can use something from the content manager. So I'm going to go down here, animation. I'm going to expand the motion folder. I'm going to go into the 3D motion folder. I'm going to go to move. And inside we have several 3D motions already saved. Now these come with the software already. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to select this walk happy walk. And I will apply this onto my character, and he's going to walk. So he's stopped already. So this only lasts for about 1 or 2 seconds. If I go down here and I open the timeline, I can see what's happening. Okay, I'm in the timeline. Let me select my Johnny character, my Walter here. Okay, and I'm going to open the 3D motion track. And here I can see my 3D motion. Okay, you see that, the blue track inside? So let me zoom out a bit. What I wish to do now is to copy paste this motion over and over again. Now I can do this by drag and dropping the same motion. Or I can make sure that I have the loop function enabled. And if I grab on the right side of that motion, I can duplicate it just like so. And it'll seamlessly duplicate my motion. Okay, so I can stop and play this. Walk, 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 walk. Great. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make my character walk from this point all the way over here. So I want him to walk about 2, maybe 3 cycles. So right now the timeline moved, and if I grab him and I place him over here, I am going to set a keyframe. Now this keyframe, we can see that this is the first keyframe, which is this little dot. This is where he started. And then we have a second keyframe, if you can see it right under that arrow. So what happens here? He walks, 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 and he stops about there. Okay, right about there. Okay, great. Now I want to rotate Johnny to be facing the camera this way. Now, to do this, before I do this, I need to flatten my 3D motion clip. So what do? I right click and I flatten the entire clip. Right about there, I think. Right about there. I want to rotate him. So I'm going to rotate him with a bracket key. Oh, not that side. The other side. Okay. And I'm going to make him, I'm going to drag him now. Oh, sorry. Let me undo that. Okay. So he rotated. And I'm going to make him walk. And I'm going to drag him. Here, I'm going to set in another keyframe. Okay. Right about there. So what happens? He walks, then he's going to rotate and walk downwards. Okay. At the very end of my walking motion, I am going to rotate him again. Notice that I have my time scrub up here. So at the very end of the walking motion, I am going to rotate him again, make him look straight at the camera. Let me zoom in. Okay. Right about there. And I want to give him a default pose. So let me show you. I will close my timeline for now. And for this, I will select my Johnny character. And I'm going to go down here into the 2D motion key editor. Inside, we have a little option called default pose. Now, this is a little cheat that I like to use. If I want to refresh his pose and I want him to go into the default pose, obviously I just go here and I click on that. And now he's got that default pose. And I can close that down. So let's see what that looks like. We have him stop, walk, rotate, then stop and rotate again, and he's got that default pose. Okay, if I open the timeline and I go inside, we can see it right there. And at the very end, what I wish to do is I will drop in a facial animation. I will zoom in. And I will select my character, and I will go to the left side toolbar, and I'm going to click on Create Script. So here I can choose if I want to record my voice, use a text-to-speech engine, import a previously saved audio file, or a previously saved script that I made before. So here I'm going to use record my voice. Okay, I'm going to use my built-in microphone, or you can choose anything else. And I'm going to record my voice right now. Here we go. Hello, everyone, and welcome to CrazyTalk Animator 2. Stop. And I can play this back. Give me a second here. Okay. And I can see the audio, the waveform here. I can click on OK, and as soon as I do this, CrazyTalk will generate. Hello, everyone, and welcome to CrazyTalk Animator 2. There you go. CrazyTalk just generated that lip sync from my voice. So I'm going to play this again. Look at his lips. Hello, everyone, and welcome to CrazyTalk Animator 2. Great. Let me zoom out. And at the very end, what I wish to do is that I want to drop in another 3D motion. Now, this is a 3D motion that was captured outside. Okay, so we had an artist perform this 3D motion in a mocap studio. We converted this into an iMotion format, and I can drag and drop this onto my character, and you can see that 3D motion being performed. So at the end, if I play this back, I'm going to have my Johnny character walk, rotate, down, stop, default pose. Hello, everyone, and welcome to CrazyTalk Animator 2. And do his MJ dance. Tee-hee! Right about there. Great. So how long did that take us? That took us about 10 to 15 minutes from creating my character to my scene to generating an animation. And like I said, I don't have to be an artist to know any of this. I can simply, to use any of this, I can simply grab assets that are available inside. I can drag and drop my own assets to create my own props. And if I have 3D motions outside, I can convert these to iMotions with 3D Exchange, and I can bring this inside. Okay, great. So let's continue here. This is the end of the live demo part. So now I'm going to give you an idea who uses CrazyTalk Animator. Now, as you can see, it's very simple. It's very quick to use. So this allows a lot of applications for the software. We have businesses, small, medium-sized companies that are now using this software to generate their own demo videos or their own explainer videos. I don't know if you've seen on YouTube, but explainer videos are very, very popular right now. And this has grown so much thanks to the technology that we have now, the accessible technology, where we're now allowing the computers to do all the work for us. So because it saves a lot of time, we now have educators and teachers using this tool in the classroom. We have graphic artists, we have video makers, and obviously we have traditional animators that are able to use assets like the automatic lip syncing to speed up their production. So just an example, we now have TV shows and professional studios that use CrazyTalk Animator. Now, I don't know if you've heard about the Jimmy Kimmel live show. Well, in the Jimmy Kimmel show, they actually use CrazyTalk Animator. So I'm going to click on one of these clips here. This is from the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Bin Laden for a moment. If I could get serious for a second. Okay, it's over. His body is in the ocean right now. Of that, we are fairly certain. But what I wonder is what becomes.
So basically, this is an animation they made with Bin Laden and this Rebecca Black song. So all of this was done in CrazyTalk Animator.
Gotta make my mind up. Which seat can I take? It's Friday, frying hell on Friday. And it's never gonna be the weekend. Suffering.
Okay, just a little gimmick there. So you have an idea of the companies that are using CrazyTalk Animator. We also have professional animators and cartoonists that are using the software. One example comes from Willow Road Animation, where they use a software to generate quick facial animation. So let me go inside and show you this video here. So the lip syncing for these characters was done with CrazyTalk.
Working on this motion comic called JFH, Justice for Hire. It's a mixed martial arts motion comic. We premiered it this year at the Martial Arts Film Festival. We had like 2 weeks left to try to finish all the lip sync. We were really freaking out.
Who's paying you? I'll triple it.
We were really pressed for time, and we were thinking about, oh, maybe we should just like hand draw this lip sync. But CrazyTalk really came in and just saved our butts. We wouldn't have been able to premiere it without it. It was absolutely fantastic, really easy to learn. Absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Oh, it's getting hot, Louisa.
So that's an example of cartoonists, professional animators using it for the lip syncing. We also have studios like iTech Studios from Russia, which I'm going to talk later on, where they create educational videos with the software. And now you are able to also use the software for game or app development. So we are currently working on a Unity plugin. This will allow you to export the animation data from the software to Unity. So this will allow you to create your own video games, your own animations and characters inside of CrazyTalk. Export this data, not the video, the data, into Unity to work on your own video games or your own apps and take advantage of what CrazyTalk offers. Showcases. Let me show you some real-life examples of people who are using CrazyTalk Animator. Right now, during the Brazil World Cup in summer, we had this channel on YouTube that just exploded. This one is called 44 Tunes, and it's from Mark Stobart in the UK. So Mark basically used CrazyTalk Animator to create very quick animations with CrazyTalk. Give me a second here. Let's play this.
很有钱。
Let's play this little advert first, and here we go. Now, I want you to notice something. Straight off the bat, look at the date for this video. This video was posted on June 12th, and it has 3.5 million views. And if you look at the other videos that we have on this channel, 44 Tunes, we have 1.3 million, we have 1.2 million, 1.2 again. And these videos are no more than 2 or 3 months old. And during the World Cup, Mark Stobart was generating these videos every week. He was creating an animation every week. The reason he chose to use CrazyTalk was because it's the only software that would allow him to generate these animations so quickly. So let's take a look here.
Oh no, we're drawing 1-1. What are we going to do? Can I help you at all? Penalty! Oh, that's brilliant!
So it's just a quick example, and if we go into Mark's video channel, you'll see that he has tons of these animations, and he was cranking these out one every week. And this is the beauty of it, that this channel only has one person working on the characters and the animations. So this is a one-man army project. So imagine how long it would take to create all these animations every week with another software. So this is the advantage with CrazyTalk. One person can do all of this. Let me go back here. Another example I want to show you is from Gary Pye from Australia. Now, Gary Pye, I actually discovered Gary about 4 or 5, no, I think about 6 months ago, maybe. I found Gary on YouTube, and I saw that he was using CrazyTalk Animator to make, some silly cartoons. And I contacted Gary, and we invited him to be one of our developers for CrazyTalk Animator. So now, Gary has literally exploded with content. This is an illustrator that Gary mentions from the moment he could hold a pencil, a crayon when he was a kid, he was always drawing and drawing. And when he found out that CrazyTalk allowed him to quickly animate his illustrations, and then that he could actually create some of these props and these characters and sell them on the store, Gary just went haywire, and he started producing content on his store in less than 4 or 5 months. And I'm going to show you some of this inside. This is the store that we have for Gary. Let me open this up. This is now his own marketplace. And you can see some of the content that he has. I can go to the next page. He now has this character called Dan, the Everyday Man. And he's got chairs, he's got scenes, rooms, furniture. Let me click on this part here. This content pack that he sells called Chairs. So Gary hand draws everything, converts them into props, and then he sells these props for people who want to use them in CrazyTalk Animator. And I think we have a video here. Here we go. So this is a very, very productive store we have with Gary. And you can see that he's got tons of content that he's already selling on the marketplace. Another one comes from David Arrindell. He's from Australia. Now, David's story is a very interesting one. David was a longtime user. He still uses GoAnimate. I think you've probably heard of GoAnimate. It's an online service that allows you to create quick animations online. Now, David has been a very prominent user of GoAnimate. Everyone knows him there, and he's an expert in the software. Besides using GoAnimate, David also uses CrazyTalk Animator, and he uses this for business. Now, we asked David what's the main difference between GoAnimate and CrazyTalk Animator. He mentions that GoAnimate has a lot of advantages. Obviously, you can create stuff quickly. You have your assets, pre-made assets inside, and you can start working with them on the very first try. Now, the same thing with CrazyTalk Animator. You have all these assets inside, and you can start working with it. Now, the main difference between GoAnimate and CrazyTalk Animator is that with CrazyTalk Animator, you have the ability to import your own characters. You have the ability to import your own props. So you can customize stuff a lot better. So give me a second here. Let me finish watching this advert first. Let me reload this. Oh, and we have another one. Okay. I know. We need to start up our extension here. Ad block. Here we go. And now we don't have to watch these adverts anymore. So this video here, this is one of the videos that David's company does. He does explainer videos for anyone online. So if you have a small business, if you want to create an animated video for your business, or you want to explain your service or your product, you can hire David's company to do an animation for you.
Pre-animated sites to make your animated explainer video. But what happens when you need a character to use a computer, answer the phone, take a coffee break, and balance the books all at the same time? It's hard to find a pre-animated character that can do all that. Introducing Animation for Business Premium for when you need animated characters that can do any action, anytime. Sure, they cost a little more, but that's because they can do a lot more. Ask about Animation for Business Premium today and put more action into your business explainer animations. Email info@animationforbusiness.com.
Okay, so a nice little example of companies taking advantage of CrazyTalk Animator this way. The last one comes from iTech Studios. This is from Ukraine. So Igor Sechin, he has been a longtime user of CrazyTalk Animator. He has his own studio, and actually he has his own store. He has his own little content store in the marketplace, just like the one we have with Gary Pye. Okay, it's called Toon Fair, and you can find a bunch of stuff inside. He's got a lot of beautiful content. I believe some of you might have seen some of his content in our demo videos. Besides this, Igor also creates educational videos. So for example, this animation here is a language lesson for the language Esperanto, and he used CrazyTalk Animator for this.
Reggio, dai loro, soldato, estas.
Mi estas reggio. Vi estas soldato.
Mi estas soldato. Li estas, dai loro.
Okay, so a nice little example of how you can create educational videos with CTA also. Great, so let's wrap this up and let's go into the Q&A. I'm not going to go over the reviews and awards. CrazyTalk has been around for a fairly long time, and obviously there's a lot of recognition towards the software. I just wish to cover quickly, go over the packages and resources that we have. We have the standard version, the pro version, and the pipeline. So let me explain the difference between each one. If you want to use the software, you don't have any animation experience, and you simply want to use content from the library without having to customize it too much, then obviously you can use the standard version. Now, if you are an animation enthusiast and you wish to be a little experimental with your animations, if you want to bring in your own props, if you want to be able to customize your own media and modify it, then we do recommend you to get the Pro version. Now, if you are a professional studio, if you have your own company, and you are looking to import and use external 3D animations, you want to work with Flash, you want to be able to import your own custom characters and motion files, then we recommend the pipeline version for this. Okay, so these are 3 different ones that you could use. So great, let's go into the Q&A. I think we still have time. Let me expand this, and let's go into the questions here. First one comes from Anita Bell. Anita says, do you have any specials for face filter and pop video converter for use with CrazyTalk Animator 2 or iClone? Well, Anita, off from the top of my head, I can't think of any specials that involve face filter and pop video converter with CTA, but you could check on our website. Let me go into a website here. Give me a second. You can go into the Reallusion website. Let me close all of this down. Reallusion.com. And we often have a bunch of specials. You can usually find them here on top. Or if not, go into Purchase and then go into the online store. This is the official Reallusion Store. And inside you can see different promotional opportunities like this one. Save big on the bestsellers. 50% off on CTA2, pipeline version, and all the power tools. Then we have specials for CT7, CrazyTalk 7, this Avatar on Demand, and then the game and app design. So again, I don't have, off from the top of my head, I don't have any promotions that I can think about, but you can check up on our website, or you can email our sales team and you can ask if they're going to have any promotion for this. Let's see. The next one comes from Kent Worrell. Let's see. Kent says, once you enter your own character and apply effects, can you then import a replacement character and maintain the effects you already created? So Kent, your question is, if I bring in a character and I generate my animations and I apply effects, at the very end of my project, can I replace my character without losing anything? And the answer is yes, absolutely. CrazyTalk was built around this idea where you can generate your entire project, finish everything. And if you want to customize your character, change out the clothing, change the color theme, or just simply exchange the character for a completely new one without losing the animation for that character, you can do this. This is one of the advantages we have with CrazyTalk. Next question comes from Zal Fink. Zal says, no audio. Even though audio works fine for me, I'm using Adobe Connector Meeting Burner. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Zal. I think everyone else can hear me though. But don't worry. Indeed, we are recording this live, and at the end of the webinar, we're going to have the video posted online in about 2 hours or so. So you can watch the video once we have it online. Next question comes from Andrew Johnson. Andrew says, am I the only one who cannot hear anything in this meeting? Okay. So you're also not hearing this. Well, it's okay. We're going to have the recording up online soon. The next question comes from Kent Worrell again. He says, can you do 3D type rotations of the character if you're using your own imported image character? Kent, this is a good question. When I was rotating the Walter character inside and eventually the Johnny Depp character, these are characters that these are G2 characters that were made by us. Now, you can actually create your own characters and you can create them. And if you create them in 10 different angles, all the sprites in 10 different angles, then yes, you are able to rotate them without any issue. Obviously, this takes a fair amount of time because you have to create all the sprites for the 0 angle. Then you have to create all the facial and body sprites for angle 45 and then angle 90 and so forth. So if you're a professional studio and you have the manpower to create these sprites, you can simply import them inside and replace them and create your own G2 character and save this in the library. And then once you create it the first time, you're free to go and you can use the same character forever. And you can use it, create your animations and go with the same character. The next question, again, another one from Ken. He says, can the G2 body parts be applied to my own imported character? Yes, you can do this. If your character has different angles and everything, you can apply these G2 body parts and exchange them with your own character. Another question comes from Mark Ress. He says, great training so far. Love when you show live demos. Thank you, Mark. We try. We don't have everything perfected. We still have some audio issues once in a while. But, we really appreciate it that you like these live webinars. We're going to have much more of them come in the future. Let's say another question from Mark again. He says, how do they make the houses move past so fast and make them look like they were driving? Oh, that's fairly simple. What you do is that you basically use a camera movement. So here, for example, this rectangle represents my camera movement. So if I go inside into camera and I record my camera moving from side to side, I can simulate as if everything is going by. Okay? So that's basically how it's done. A little small trick there. Another question from Kent Worrell. He says, can you use more than one animated character within a scene? Oh, yes, absolutely. You can use as many characters as you like. With CTA, with CrazyTalk Animator, no problem. You can use as many characters as you like in the same scene. Another question from Michael Brown. Michael says, when using your own sprites, how can you sort the Z-Depp positioning? What's in front in the composer mode? Oh, well, this is simple. In the composer mode, you basically go into the layer manager. Okay, let me try to do this here. I select my character. I'm going to go into the character composer mode. Give me a second here. Let me minimize this. And I believe we have to, okay, select my character, yes. How do we do this? That's a good question. Let's go to Window. Here we go, Scene Manager, down here. We go to the Scene Manager. Now I can see the hierarchy of all my sprites. You see that? So I can rearrange that hierarchy, and this allows me to arrange the layer of everything. So you have to go into the Scene Manager by going into Window and pressing F5. Okay. Running out of time here. Let's go to the next question. Another one comes from Edward Blaker. He says, how can I get personal training? Do you have in-house or a pipeline to different areas for training that can really get me light years ahead pretty quickly? We have training centers with different distributors around the world, Edward. So in the US, I believe we have training centers, and also in the UK. We have to get back to you on this. But I can honestly say that you can learn CrazyTalk Animator fairly quickly, and I'll show you where to find everything. Go to our main website. Let me zoom in here a bit so we could see this better. Go into Products. Then you find CrazyTalk Animator 2. Okay, click on that. This will take you into the landing page of CrazyTalk Animator. On the left side column, you want to click on Training Resources, and you want to click on Home. Here you will find every single video tutorial that we have done for the software so far. Now, I know what you mean, that you want hands-on, somebody to be beside you and teach you how to do this and that. But honestly, I can tell you that if you dedicate about 20 hours and you watch all of these video tutorials and you follow it with your software on the side, you can learn CrazyTalk Animator fairly quickly. I dare to say, but you can actually learn the software in a week, in 1 week. If you dedicate 3 or 4 hours every day and you watch all these video tutorials and you start playing with it, you will learn the software in no time. Now, if you still insist that you need a trainer for this, then you would have to contact our sales team, and they can tell you which countries have which distributors and if these distributors have training centers around the world. Okay. Next one comes from Bill Velbeckel. Sorry. He says, do you need to have iClone installed on your computer in order to be able to use iClone motions with CrazyTalk Animator Pro? Bill, this is a very good question. And the answer is yes. This is the reason. If you purchase an iClone content pack, okay, this comes with a little installer. It's a zip file and it comes with a little installer. When you click on this installer looks for your iClone software because it wants to unpack all these iMotions into that folder. If you do not have iClone installed, then the installer does not know where to install this. Do I explain myself? So unfortunately, yes, if you want to apply iClone 3D motions into CrazyTalk Animator and you buy these content packs, you first need to unpack them, and you need iClone for this. Now, there's different ways to get around this. One thing you can do is just purchase the cheapest iClone version we have, iClone Standard. Another thing you could do is try to acquire one of the older versions of iClone, maybe iClone 4, although I don't know if a new content pack will work for this. So, unfortunately, yes. Again, because it's an iClone content pack, you do need iClone to unpack this. Another question comes from Timothy Bradford. He says, can you show me how to place one layer in front of another or behind another? For instance, moving a proper scene in front of another one. Okay, that's fairly simple. Let me go inside. Let me go back into the stage, and I'll show you here. We're running out of time, but I hope you don't mind if we extend this a bit. I'm going to go into the 3D viewer. Okay, so for example, you see this traffic light? This traffic light is in front of everything else. I just selected it, and you see that this little gizmo, appears in front of the traffic light. Now, I can grab this blue arrow and I can bring it forward, or I can push it backwards. And if I keep on pushing it backwards, it's going to disappear behind the other layers. Let me move this, zoom out a bit. Oh. Where's my traffic light? Okay, let me Control Z this. Bring it forward a bit. Okay, I can move it back. See that? Or I can move it forward. Now I can do it here in the 3D viewer, or I can also do it inside the main stage. Now, how do I do this? I select my prop, and down here at the bottom, you see this little arrow? This is called the Z Depp arrow. So if I click on that and I drag it, I can bring it forward, or I can push it towards the back. You see that? So that's basically how we do it. Okay. Next question comes from Joe Stephens. He says, how can you sync the playhead in the timeline with the playhead in the main video? Oh, well, you don't have to sync it, Joe. They're already synced by default. So, for example, you're talking about this timeline here. How do I sync this one with the one inside the timeline if I open the timeline panel? Well, it's already synced. So if I grab this time scrub here, notice the one down here. It's the same one. I can move this forward and I can move this back. So they're both synced already. I don't have to, move one or move the other one. They move in sync. Okay. Okay, I think we have time for 2 more questions. Another question comes from Thomas Duval. He says, does CTA2 or CrazyTalk Animator 2 have auto muscle animation like CrazyTalk 7? That's a good question. Unfortunately, at this point, it does not. For everyone here that doesn't know what auto muscle animation means, here Thomas is talking about the auto motions, okay? The auto motions is this new technology that we invented in CrazyTalk 7, where the voice, not just lip sync, the voice animates not just the lip syncing, but it also animates the head movement of my character. And it does this with the eyebrows, with the face, and everything else. This feature is currently only available in CrazyTalk 7, but I personally love that auto motion feature, and I've talked to our developers and asked them if we're going to have this either in a future update for CrazyTalk Animator 2 or maybe even CrazyTalk Animator 3, and they said that they're thinking about it. So when they say that, it's probably a maybe. So I don't want to say yes or no. I'm just thinking that it will probably happen because it's a great technology. We invented this stuff, and everyone is loving it. So why not put this inside? Another question from Michael Brown says, can you use iClone motions in CrazyTalk 1 CTA 1 characters? Michael, unfortunately, no. They have to be Generation 2, or what we call G2 characters. They will not work with G1, Generation 1, unfortunately. You have to have these characters in multiple angles, and obviously when they have their multiple angles, 10 different dimensions, that's when they become G2 characters. Okay? One more question here. Someone who I haven't answered. Let me see. I'm about to sneeze again here. Give me a second. Joe Stevens. Let me see. Gordon Wong. I have one more question. The last one here. Gordon Wong says, how will this session be available for viewing after you're done? Oh, okay. So, yes, we are recording this, and this will be available online in a while. So let me show you. For this, go into our main page, reallusion.com, and go down where it says free webinars. Click on that, and this will take you into the webinar page. And inside, you will be able to see all the upcoming webinars that we have. So today, September 17th, this is the one that we're doing now. This is me, yours truly. And we have another one for October 1st. This will be hosted by Kai Deneve, and he'll be talking about iClone. So if you wish to watch the video, just go into the archive part, and you can download the videos and watch the videos for all the previous webinars that we've done. So obviously we're recording this right now, and this video, once we finish the webinar, this video will be available and uploaded in about 2 hours time or so. So if you missed anything or there was any delay with the audio, with the lag or whatnot, you will be able to watch this video online. Okay, great. So I'm sorry if I can't answer all the questions. We've gone over the time. We really, really appreciate everyone joining this webinar. In order for us to say thank you, we would like to offer you a free training DVD for CrazyTalk Animator 2. Okay, so in order to get your free training DVD, this is a download version, okay? We kindly ask if you can quickly fill out a survey that we sent out in an email after this webinar. So please, if you registered for this webinar and you dropped in an email address, please, in about a day or two, check inside if you received our email. In the email, you will find a quick survey. It's about a 5-minute survey. We ask you general questions, what you thought about the webinar, the quality of everything, if you have any suggestions, or how can we improve this webinar? Because remember, we do this for you. We realize that if we're able to not just provide a great product, but also provide a great service by being there for you and giving you a face and a voice for you to relate to, and giving you the access to ask questions live, people respond to that. So we actually need your help to improve on these webinars. So we kindly ask if you can fill out this survey and give us your feedback on what you thought about this event. And obviously, as a thank you, we will be giving you a download link for the free training DVD for CrazyTalk Animator 2. Just our little way of saying thank you for your understanding and your support. Great. So that's all the time we have for now. Thank you again. We really appreciate it. And stay tuned for any upcoming webinars that we might have. Thank you again and have a great day. Bye.